The FBI has released new photos from the Trump assassination attempt, which show how the shooter was able to conceal his AR-15 rifle as well as explosives in the trunk of his car. They also revealed more of the suspect's internet searches leading up to the rally, including when is the DNC and RNC, how far was Oswald from Kennedy, where will Trump speak from, Butler Farm Show podium, and weather in Butler. Jonathan Gilliam is a former FBI special agent and Navy SEAL, and he joins me now. Jonathan, what stands out to you from this latest release of information from the FBI?
Well, let's start with the fact that they called this a target of opportunity. I think that's the wrong verbiage. I think that this was a target that he chose. He clearly did his research online, looking at all the different individuals that he thought he might want to attack, and he chose this one. He did a surveillance. He did a surveillance online, looking at the location. He was there with a drone before the event occurred, and he somehow picked the exact fatal funnel and avenue of approach that the Secret Service failed to secure. He didn't shoot from the trees. He didn't go into the crowd that were behind the fence that was not secured and just shoot from there. He went up to this rooftop that the Secret Service failed to secure. So obviously, this wasn't just a target opportunity. Obviously, he was able to gain this knowledge of the Secret Service failure, which always begs to the question of, did he have any other help involved from somebody in the government or somebody who was there that was telling him where law enforcement was or wasn't. The other thing that stood out are these explosives, Todd. You don't just get detonation cord off the shelf. You pretty much have to have a license, like a federal firearms license, to go and get detonation cord. That's what the FBI is telling us that he had. And if he got that, how did he get it? And when did he get it? Because, again, not a target of opportunity, a planned attack. And the other thing is, when you look at the verbiage that the FBI uses in this press release, they also bring up the fact that there was, quote unquote, white supremacy on at least one of the chat rooms that he was in. Right. If that's the case, but they say that he wasn't necessarily involved with that verbiage, why mention that? Again, with Christopher Wray's past comments, with some other press releases that have happened, we always have to ask, why does the FBI secrete these little bits of information in there about verbiage? It's misleading, I think, to the public.
Got about 30 seconds left with you. Do you think we should have a clearer picture by now as to who the shooter was communicating with these encrypted messaging apps? I mean, so far we have broad countries, but we don't have names. At least the public doesn't have names. 30 seconds to you.
We should have at least some type of understanding, especially when we're looking at the type of explosives that he used and the way they were made. Where did he learn that? These explosives have footprints. So certain people make certain type of bombs. What does that reflect in his bombs that he made? And also on the phones, he had 2 phones, which means that he was communicating. He wanted to keep certain things secret. Why aren't we knowing these things? And again, why is the verbiage that the FBI using making it look like he's just somebody who just picked a target of opportunity, just showed up there? None of the evidence that they're showing displays that possibility.
It's also odd that he looked up the RNC and DNC. Really makes you question what kind of a motive we have here. A lot more questions continuously in this case 6 weeks after the attempted assassination of President Trump. Jonathan Gilliam, thank you for your insight. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.